Welcome to our executive interview series at CyberTalks presented by CyberScoop. I'm Wyatt Cash and we're here with Christine Halverson, Public Sector CTO at Okta.
Thank you for having me, Wyatt.
First, I'd like to ask, how has the increasing reliance on cloud services made real-time cybersecurity and threat detection easier or harder for federal agencies?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think some things are easier and some things are harder, right? And I think the problem is the cyber threats keep happening to more of the antiquated systems because they're not being maintained as much, and that modernization needs to happen, and moving to the cloud is that modernization effort. Once you get to the cloud, you have a tech stack, and in that tech stack, you have different SaaS applications in that tech stack. And those SaaS applications have to start talking to each other. And that is something we're doing at Okta, right, from a cybersecurity perspective, where we're integrated with 7,800 application SaaS providers. And with that, we actually are sharing threat signals amongst us in order to kind of mitigate the threat as it's happening. So we're not always behind the threat, but we can be proactive for a threat. So to give you a quick example of that, working with like a Zscaler or a CrowdStrike, if there are threat signals sent to their alerts, those alerts come into Okta, and Okta is able to do a universal logout or even make sure that the user can re-authenticate in with another multi-factor authentication method. And so that allows you to get ahead of the threat, especially that cyber supply chain threat that I know a lot of people have been talking about today. If you can get ahead of that cyber supply chain threat, you're going to mitigate most of the threats happening on your platform today.
And then what have been the most serious type of cybersecurity attacks that your organization's customers are kind of dealing with this year compared to, say, a year ago? And what are you seeing more of that you're also trying to get out in front of?
Yeah, so I mentioned it in my talk here today about on September 13th, CISA and US Customs released their 2023 report, and identity attacks were the number one vector of attacks. 90% of the attacks that they saw were identity-based. And so with that, really what you have is your phishing attacks, number one, front and center, your social engineering attacks, which again go after that identity, and again, those supply chain attacks, which again go after the identity on your platform. So really the message I want to get out is that identity really is a critical infrastructure, and we have to start treating it differently because it is the front door in. And if you can really lock down that front door in a seamless and easy to use way for your users, your security posture will absolutely go up, your cyber resiliency will absolutely go up, and you will have a better understanding on what's going on within your environment, especially with having a full identity platform that gives you all those capabilities to see your total environment in a continuous monitoring method.
Makes a lot of sense. Christine Halverson, thank you as always for joining us and adding to the conversation here at CyberTalks.
Thank you, Wyatt. Good to see you.